Hello, Mr. Captain. Lurkers are insanely broken. I was dominating the game since the start, but immediately when lurkers came out on the field, the game was over. I could not attack him anymore and would eventually die. Lots of people say that ghosts and liberators counter lurkers, but to me it feels like that's only true if you are Maru. I do recognize that I had a really late third due to starting out with a 2-base all-in, and my macro was a bit sloppy at times. Still, I think the advantage in the early game should have been enough to win the game. No other unit would have kept him alive and in the game to make him win. So please tell me, are lurkers broken or do I just really suck? Name, Luolis, race, Terran in the Grandmaster League on Europe. And the question here is, are lurkers broken or do I just really suck? And we're here to find out. Alrighty then friends, here we go. A game on Cosmic Sapphire between Luolis and a Barcode Zerg player on the Grandmaster level on Europe. Now, it's always interesting to see these Grandmasters square off. This got scouted that it was a hatchery first. Kind of a standard opening. It is single, no. Double Marine, into Reactor, into Factory. Not completely aware of this build order. Usually if you open up a Marine and then a second Marine, you first build a factory rather than first building the reactor, but I'm not even going to complain about it. You know what, this is just an alternative build order, and just because I haven't seen it before doesn't mean it is as good as the other build orders. There are just no professional Terran players that play this specific build, and there's probably no good reason for this. Professional Terran players are just dumb. And Luolis has figured out the early game here. He's building a bunker. This is also one of these things you don't really see that often, unless you go for a complete no-scout, maybe with CC first. I don't actually think it's common at all to have a bunker, and especially not in a position like this. It's always going to be in a more defensive position. Right now, this bunker is completely isolated. If roaches, if lynx, honestly, if anything shows up, the bunker gets surrounded. You won't be in time to repair. Even if you are in time to repair, it's such a far walk that most of the time the bunker is going to be half killed already. Your reinforcements are going to be delayed in helping the bunker. Like, the thought of having a bunker is nice, but this is a bit as if you were tasked at securing the president. And what you decide to do is you drive him out on a boat into the middle of the ocean with 2 men of security personnel. Then you take a picture with the president and you upload it to your Facebook saying, just chilling with the press. It's not a brilliant plan, because where's all the other security personnel? Well, probably on land. So in order to save you, they need to come from very far, and by that time the president has already been shot by the gangsters that want to kill the president in this hypothetical scenario. It's not my best work, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, it's the same with the bunker. It's just difficult to come to assist it with SCVs, with your extra reinforcements. Usually you see a bunker like over here. Sometimes you even see a bunker on the high ground blindly, if they really believe they're being roach all-in or something like that. Okay, so what is this opener? This is a medevac for heli. Okay, this honestly, this feels so much like a Hellbat all-in, but it isn't. But it kind of is, you know? It smells like a Hellbat all-in. What is it? Is Starport just not doing anything or what? He just gave up on life? It's not worth it. Wait, double tech labs, okay. Another interesting move. We have a free reactor, yet barracks are being built on the complete opposite end of the base, rather than going near the reactor. Now, I don't know that much about Terran, but I do know that you can't just have random add-ons laying around that you'll use later. Like, especially in the early game, the add-on management is one of the most important things. It is, first of all, really rare to see a starport build its own tech lab if you're going into Raven or Banshee. But I hope it's not Banshee, because your Banshees are going to hit so late. It's actually insane how late this Banshee is going to hit. If this is a Banshee. This should be a Raven or a Fusion Core. No, it's going to be indeed Banshees. Now, okay, this entire build, I was gonna actually let the build order go, like, you know, the 2 Marine into the reactor into the factory, but then you started doing this crap. This is actual garbage again. So you add 2 barracks, indicating that you want to hit with a fast stim push, which means that you need quick medevacs. For quick medevacs, what do you need? You need a starport that is available with a reactor pumping out medevacs pretty early on in the game. Instead, what you're doing here is you build one... Wait, where's your medevac? You build 1 medevac, then you don't do anything with your starport for 25-30 seconds, then you throw down a tech lab and go into Banshee. Cloak takes freaking 79 seconds. 79 seconds, then you still need to fly to a reactor, or maybe in your case, you're probably just going to build it, the reactor near the starport, so that's another 30 seconds added on. The thing that limits your timing is going to be Stim, Combat Shield, and your medevacs. And if one of those doesn't line up properly, your entire timing is going to be delayed, because you can't push without one of these three things. I also don't understand why you're building barracks away from reactors. Well, it's obvious you want as many units as possible. I'm curious if this is going to be tanks. I wouldn't even mind it too much. You can do a 2-base push with tanks. That is actually a completely fine thing to do. But your entire early game here made very little sense. Also, whenever you're playing a 2-base all-in or a 2-base push, most of the time you don't want to get more than a single starport unit because of the reasons I mentioned earlier. Now here you're at least going to get one medevac and already one Banshee, and you'll need to wait for the cloak, so you're probably going to get a second Banshee as well. This is absolutely not how you're supposed to be playing this matchup. Absolutely not. If you wanted to play 2 Banshee with cloak before your 2-base all-in, at least you shouldn't have built your medevac so that these barracks could have just straight up flown over to this tech lab to start Stim. Because right now, you're adding 2 more tech labs. You already have 2 tech labs. You're just going to have an empty tech lab, just like you have an empty reactor over here that hasn't been used in a very long time. If you dealt some damage, you've killed 16 workers. That I do appreciate, but you would have been capable of doing that without your terrible build order as well. This is the funny thing, is that some Grandmaster players, they kind of have this little trick that they use, or this little... this build that they've been doing ever since they grew up, you know, they advanced through the ladder, and they think that is the reason that they're Grandmaster now, so they're sticking with it. While in reality, they have gotten this high on the ladder despite their hot garbage build order, because what in the world is this? Look at this. Starport isn't even on a reactor yet. We're 6 minutes and 33 seconds into the game. This is the timing at which Bunny hit against Raynor in GSL Season 3, I think it was, the last GSL season. He hit with 2 tanks, 3 medevacs, I think it was, or maybe 2 medevacs, 1 Viking, and like 18 or 20 Marines. Stim, Combat Shield, I think +1 probably was also done. You, so far, have hit your opponent with a Banshee that is a minute and a half too late, a little bit of Hellion harass, and that is about it. I think Bunny had 120 supply at this point in his opponent's base, while also having Hellions in the early game. It wasn't like he just rushed into that. No, he had Hellions in the early game, he built a Viking in the early game. This is how much worse your build is compared to your opponent. A lot. It is just a lot. Wait, triple tech labs? That is obviously incorrect. This is... He saw that he had a tech lab left over. I was like, oh crap, I need to use it or people are going to make fun of me. Let me just fly another barracks there. He's building a lot of Marauders. Now, I never see Marauders in 2-base pushes in TVZ, probably because they cost some gas and it makes the build a little bit less tight, but I don't mind the thought, honestly. If you think about it, like, this is actually kind of smart. You want some extra tanking. So despite this not being standard, people always say, oh, you only say the standard thing. It's like, no. If I see something that is smart and isn't standard, I can say that is smart and not standard. I think Marauders here are actually quite smart. They're definitely a good call in my mind. Yeah, because you can tank Banelings with them. If your opponent is building Roaches, they're going to be good as well. And it's either going to be Banelings and Roaches. Having a couple of Marauders, yes, it decreases the damage output your army has, but it increases the tankability. I wonder how important it is. I've never seen other Terrans do this, though. I'm not sure if that is because it's just not common, because it isn't standard, or if this is... I don't actually know what this is. I legit don't know. All right, I got my answer real quick. I asked my friends on Skype. They said it is because it uses up too much production time. 2 Marines are better than 1 Marauder, and usually with 2 base all-ins, it's not the cost that you're lacking. You know, you actually just want more damage, more units. Makes some sense. I don't mind the thought, though. I actually think this is an okay thought. It's an incorrect thought, apparently, but I hadn't thought of it either, so I'm not going to flame you for it. That would be very hypocritical of me to do. I don't mind. You have a lot of tanks. Wait, what am I hearing? Oh, this guy's attacking the rocks. Look, okay, look. This is, I think, everything you need to know about your build order. We don't even have to look at you. We just look at the Zerg. What is Zerg doing? Zerg is going into Hive Infestation Pit, Lurker Den, double Evo Chamber upgrades, range, carapace, 66 workers and 4 bases, okay? Your opponent thinks your build is so bad that he can get away with all of this. He doesn't even scout if you have a third, but he sees you hit at the 8 minute mark. He's like, okay, this guy's an idiot. There's no way this is a 2-base all-in, because a 2-base all-in is supposed to hit 2 full minutes ago, Grandmaster player. This is how bad your build order is. People just don't respect it. I said what I said, and I ain't taking it back. There's 2 little queens here from the Zerg side. This actually should be a win. This actually should be a win. Scan the creep. Or scan this creep, move the tanks forward. Oh my god, you have no killer instinct. What is this? This is not having brunch with your mother-in-law. You're a hitman, my friend. You need to kill stuff. You have some killer instinct. You can just stand around and do nothing for 30 seconds. This is an all-in. This is also not quite how you want to use the Marauders, I think. You need the Marines. This is incorrect. No, come on. Ah. Okay, the fight still was good, but it shouldn't have been. Look at this, okay. The way you want to use the Marauders is obviously you use them in front as tanking and have the Marines kind of behind them. But they need to be used as tanking. They're not your main damage output. If you want to use them as main damage output, this is not what they're used for. Usually send like 3 or 4 ahead. You force your opponent to engage into you, and there's more Marauders in the back. But half of your Marines aren't even covered by Marauders here. I really like you figuring out the Marauder thing, but this is kind of like inventing the light bulb just to stick it up your bum. It's like, well, it's a great invention. We have light. It's like, yeah, my bum. It's not entirely what you want now, is it? This was garbage, but still a fight that you completely won because you're just so far ahead. Your early game must have been fantastic. I completely missed it, honestly. I was so upset by the other things you were doing. I really believe that if you were to have a regular build order, you would be quite good. Like your macro seems completely fine. Oh, you did this without upgrade. Oh, that's a little bit yikesy, actually. That's another minus. How's it possible you hit 2 minutes late with less stuff and without upgrade? This was one hell of a fight as well. Ooh. Ooh. It's not the good type of who, you know? That's the type of who you have and you fall in a koi pond or something like that. It's like, this is not nice. Holy crap. That was a bad fight. Lost 3 tanks, I think, or 4 tanks for free there. Yeah, this is better, maybe? Micro the Marines back. Keep the Marauders in front. Almost correct. Tank dies. You're still so far ahead, though. You have a 3rd base, right? 3rd base flying over, long distance mining. The one thing I don't mind, which is the one thing you mentioned that you did wrong, is that you had your 3rd base a little bit late. Yes, it's bad for you, but it's completely irrelevant because you're so far ahead anyway. I don't really mind all that much. Okay, now we have eBay, 2nd eBay armory coming in as well. And you have 67 army supply against 22. There's 21 links, 2 queens, and 9 morphing banes against 25 marines, 9 marauders, and 8 medevacs. This game is unlosable. If you had any killer instinct whatsoever here, you would have just eaten this guy alive. But you, my friend, legit have the killer instinct of a llama. They don't have a lot of killer instinct. I think they only eat leaves. I do believe they're the ones that spit on people, though, aren't they? They're these guys. I also think it's spelled with 2 L's, the llama. It's a weird spelling. You feel like there would be an H in there somewhere, but I don't think there is. I think it's just L-L-A-M-A. Ask me anything. LOL. Viper, 3 looks. I mean, this game is still completely over. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you're going to manage this one. Okay, a little bit of overstimming, well, a little bit. You have 9 medevacs for 12 units, and all of them are in the orange. And all medevacs are empty. This was a bad fight again. You have a little bit of money issues as well. But not the type of money issues people usually have, you know? In real life, if someone tells you they have money issues, you wouldn't expect to see them float 1,500 minerals in the bank and 600 gas. No, they usually be in the red. Luckily, that's not possible in StarCraft 2. But this doesn't look great for you. Well, it actually still does look great for you, but given how bad your fights are, it doesn't look great for you. You know, it's like if I were to do a foot race with someone and I am 40 meters ahead of them in a 100-meter race. That looks good for me, unless I'm racing against Usain Bolt and I have to moonwalk. Now, I can moonwalk pretty quick. I don't think I'd be capable of beating Usain Bolt in his 100 meters when I still have 60 meters to moonwalk. Although, maybe. I'll have to try it. I call up Usain one of these days. I'll make a video out of it as well. Me and him have been tight for a very long time already. Humble brag. Well, it's just a regular brag again. Vehicle weapons, +2, what's this? Infantry weapons, level 2. 2 liberators on the way. 2 more liberators on the way. 4 tanks coming in as well. No ghost. No nothing, but an army supply advantage of about 60 supply. I always, I've said this before, but whenever I look at a game, I always think, what are the how can the underdog party right now, how could the underdog party win? And I also always think to myself, how could the winning player possibly lose? And if you're the losing party, you want to, increase the chance of the things happening that make you win. And as the winning party, you want to, make sure that you can finish the game or make sure that you don't lose. You just eliminate all the options that your opponent has. And right now, I'm looking at this situation. It's going to be 4 base against, I guess, 3.5. I mean, this base is dead. So one thing could be you run out of scans. That is one thing that I can see. You have 4 tanks. You have 4 liberators. There's only 3 Vipers. If you get Ghost, I don't think there's a... Even without Ghost, I think if you just split up your army and attack into any position, there's nothing that the Zerg can do. 6 Lurkers just aren't enough to fight against an army this big. It is 14 Marauders as well. It feels like you can just walk in. Of course, after killing the hatchery that's being built at the gold. That would be a detail that I would like to add. I think that is actually a good play. Although it takes a little bit of time away and might delay your timing in this case, I do believe that would be the correct move to go for. Like that there's Marauders over here. Could definitely take out this spot as well. Okay. Loses 1 tank. Loses 2 tanks. Why did he scan this area? Oh, for the creep. But doesn't kill the final creep tumor. Just another impressive move. Now another scan for it. Scanned this area 3 times already. Isn't quite sure if he can engage into it. Now decides not to. And then goes for the hatchery. Okay. So he wanted to see if there was an opportunity to attack into this before killing the hatch. I don't completely mind that, honestly. There was no macro behind this. Do we have a Ghost Academy yet? Yes, we do. Do we have Ghost Production? Yes, we do as well. Very nice. 5 Ghosts on the way. More Liberators as well. Now, a thing you would want to do over here is you deny all the creep on the map. And then you just go rotate between these 2 bases. Your opponent can literally never move out. You're always fighting on your terms. Counterattacks are going to be close to impossible. You have Liberators for harass. You have tanks for safety at home. You're building Ghost. You're getting better upgrades than your opponent. What are these Liberators defending? The hill? He's just playing King of the Hill with himself, maybe. Ooh, adios, Creep Tumor. This is a good scan. There's just no speed here whatsoever. I feel like Luolis heard the word slow push once. I was like, alright, that is now my spirit animal. And other people tried to explain him that's not how spirit animal works. And that spirit animals actually need to be an animal. And you can't just say that slow pushing is a spirit animal. But we'll count it. This has been some really slow pushing this entire game. Oh, this looks like some potential here for the fight. Oh, parasitic bombs being cast. Nice split. Good splits there on the Medivacs. Very nice. Snipes going down as well. Beautiful stuff. Lurkers moving in right now too. Oh, this is just great. Now, there is a really sick trick actually, but not a lot of people know about. That I'm gonna tell you right now. Is that if that Lurkers are in the middle of the map and you're up 50 supply, is that it most likely means that Lurkers aren't defending any of the other bases. Oh, actually there's 2 Lurkers here. Can just kill that with 2 drops though. Whenever a Lurker army is out and about, it means defense is weak as well. So what you can do is you can send some Medivacs around to counterattack to kill the bases. Because eventually your Liberator Ghost army should be capable of clearing this. I hope. Hello, scan. Okay, also fine. Well, not completely fine. Parasite Bomb takes out, what, 5 Liberators here? Or just 3? We're going for 4. Ooh, just 2. That's a lucky Liberator here with 3 HP. Might want to repair that as well. More Ghost on the way. Honestly, these fights have not been bad. Yes, you lost 3 Ghosts for No good reason, but I still think you're fine. Cheeky tank split off over here. Thomas the tank engine. Wait, you're actually going for a run by with a tank? That's unheard of. You're up a base. No extra... Okay, more extra ghosts are being added. These guys are dying. Surely at this point you realize that if you just go attack and keep map control, there's literally no way that you can lose. Like, the lurkers are only scary if they're on your side of the map. You're completely going to be out-expanding your opponent. You should not be chasing into this army. Like, if the lurker army is in a position already where you are not, because you are out of position, then you can't attack into it anymore. That's the one thing where lurkers are good at, my friend. Literally the one thing. Liberators set up, not all at the same spot because of parasitic bomb. Oh, fly away all at the same spot, also fine. Lose 3... How many are we gonna lose here? 4? 4 liberators, I think. And we killed nothing. Instead, we're just chasing these guys. Lost a bunch of SCVs as well. That game is actually starting to become a little bit close. Not a huge fan of that. Still 9 ghosts out. So, once again, if you're in position, you have some map vision, you know where your opponent's army is, this should not be an issue. Because the thing about ghost is, the way that they're used defensively here is actually beautiful. You're in position, the opponent tries to move in, and you do the pew pew. You snipe him, and he has to piss off again. The problem here is that you're just never in position, so you're always going to be engaging into a lurker spot. Rather than doing that, what I would say, if you're out of position, it's like, hey, keep the ghost over here, put some liberators on top of it, and a couple of... That was not a good fight. GG, I guess. Lurkers Imba. Okay, I'm gonna come to this. First, if your opponent is in a position like this, and there's 12 lurkers, now, what you wanna do is snipe off the lurkers one by one with your ghost. So you snipe. You use 8 snipes per lurker, and then shift-click your ghost back. So that the moment the snipe gets cancelled, or it goes off, your ghost moves back to safety. What you do is you send your entire army in while you're sniping. Every single snipe gets cancelled. All of your bio dies. There's splash damage. If the lurker is attacking 1 ghost or 10 marines and a ghost, it doesn't matter to the lurker. Well, ideally they attack more, but it's still going to hit the ghost. So you rather not have the marines there for the collateral damage. It just doesn't make any sense. Instead, what you do is you keep a little bit of the bio behind, and the rest is counterattacking, picking off bases that are out on the map, or maybe dealing with this single lurker or with this ling run by that is coming for you. Then with the 2 liberators that you still have, and you could keep 1 over here maybe, defending this base that is mining 1 SCV at a time, you could actually maybe have to be forced to lift it, but at least you're dealing damage on the other side as well, and you can snipe them off one by one eventually. The Zerg is going to realize what's happening over here. We'll need to lift up all lurkers at the same time, and then you snipe 5 more lurkers while they're running away. All of a sudden your opponent only has 20 links and 4 hydras and 3 vipers, and you win the game. Congratulations, you're now Maru, as you call it, or just any regular Terran player with more than 85 IQ, which apparently only is Maru. Now, next up, after this absolutely awful fight, you say something very interesting. Speak to it. GG, I guess. Lurkers Imba. Now, you don't have to say GG if you don't want to. If you don't think it was a good game, don't do it. But this is some weird backhanded compliment, which it's not even a compliment. I'm not sure what it is. It's in between. No one knows. Imagine you just had dinner, okay? Imagine you're 7 again. You just had dinner and you didn't like it. Your mom, slaved away in the kitchen. Your dad slaved away in the kitchen for 5 hours. They made the most amazing dish. But you just didn't like it because your taste buds are underdeveloped and you're a spoiled little brat. And then rather than saying, man, this sucked, you could just say nothing. That is a fine thing. What you did instead is here, you complimented the food. You said, oh, this was okay, I guess. And then there's a pause and then you go, but the dish sucked, or potatoes sucked. It's like, what? First of all, how can you hate potatoes? Potatoes are literally delicious. Fries are made of them. And second of all, why would you do that to your parents? That's a messed up thing, Luolis. Just like it's a messed up thing here to pretend like you thought it was a GG and then immediately kind of discredit your opponent's performance by saying that he only win due to the lurker being imbalanced, despite it being obvious that it was you who was the idiot who walked his entire bio ghost army into a position with 12 lurkers rather than just cleaning it up. It's like, yeah, you have different ways of cleaning things up. If you have, imagine you have like a puddle of water and dirt. Like, you're not going to use the vacuum cleaner for that most of the time. You'll use something else, like a mop or something. I don't know. I don't clean. Everything is dirty in my house. But, specific dirt requires specific solutions. And here, you didn't use the specific solution at all. Just a quick recap here. Your build order was garbage from start to finish. Your bunker was out too far. Just like to mention that, although it had no impact on this game. Your third base flew over late, but we weren't going to talk about it. You put a light bulb up your bum, which is always incorrect. And on top of that, you microed like a complete idiot in every single fight. That included Ghost. Oh, and the final one, you had no killer instinct. Literally the killer instinct of a llama. We put all 6 of these together, and it only leads to one conclusion. You suck, my friend. And that is what it is. All right. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.